listening to the Untitled podcast that we're doing.
We'll get there.
We had a few bouncing around, didn't we?
Yeah, a couple. John and Trevor come together.
I thought that was a really good one because, it's got the two meanings. We're together. Look at we're right now. We're in the same room, and then
we're also jerking each other off.
Yeah, so very frequently do we climax in the same in the same vicinity in the same time.
But what I thought was quite possibly a better one was Caps Off.
Yes.
Caps Off with John and Trevor.
Do you want to tell the backstory to that real quick? It doesn't have to be a long story.
Sure. So we recorded one of these for a podcast that John uses to keep his family up to date with his life.
One that I don't do anymore. I'm gonna come back to it.
Okay.
The first announced here on this podcast. If you thought I was done with it, I'm going back to it. There will be a return. Don't ask me when.
Outstanding. But no, so we were recording one of those, and we had these water bottles, and we just figured, hey, there's no on-air sign, so people people would really need a way of knowing if they were to walk by that we were recording. So we figured if the caps are off the water bottles, that means real talks are happening. So
yeah,
caps
it's a
off.
real exciting origin story.
Right.
So we just got back from the movie theater. We saw a really late showing of Avengers Endgame, and that was your fifth time watching it?
It was my fifth time watching it. And
did you have any feelings differently about it the fifth time, or are you just doing it based out of pure joy?
Oh, it's definitely pure joy. Every single time I watch it, I notice something new. I experience something new. I think my best viewing out of all five of them was probably the fourth one. That's when I took my baby sister to go see. She's 11, and she I don't know. She cried. Oh, speaking of which, it's about now is when she stopped crying.
Oh, really? Yeah. Compared to...
Right. In the middle of the movie, I told John this is where she started crying. And then just now, about 2 hours later...
Obviously, because of a specific scene, a specific chain of events, she didn't,
Right. And there was just... But she just loved it.
It was America's ass, and she's like, no.
She's a diehard socialist. She's just like, America? How fucking dare you?
Was there was something you wanted to talk about relating to that, non-spoiler wise, right? That was feminism.
Yeah, you kind of brought it up in the movie theater, but forced feminism in movies.
Yeah.
I think, so my personal opinion on it would be, I think Captain Marvel did it wrong, and Endgame did it right. And I know you're not a fan of the whole, girl power scene,
It's not that I'm not a fan of it. It just brings out a certain irritation in me that I'll talk about when you're done explaining your part of it.
Because you hate women.
Right.
No, but I feel like obviously in Captain Marvel, and I've expressed this to you before, I think it was really blatant and out there and in your face. And
it was kind of took over the whole movie. Right.
Went out of its way to tell you, hey, this is about female power and how they are oppressed. Mm-hmm. But and down to scenes like where she's literally standing over a man saying, I don't have to prove anything to you. And it's like, come on. Who put that there? But
it wasn't a man, I'll tell you that.
But I think Endgame did it really well, where it was a short little scene where it just showed all of these female superheroes coming together, and they kick a bunch of ass, and really move the plot forward to where it needs to go, and then and then it moves on. The movie doesn't dwell on it. The movie's definitely not centered around it, but it's a really nice touch. It's like for the view, every viewer can enjoy that. Not every viewer can enjoy being told, hey, you're a piece of garbage, all right? Because you have a penis. So.
Well, my side of that, basically, I'm not I don't hate women. Let's put that out there.
Right.
I love women very much.
You're married to one.
Yeah, I have one myself. I keep one around.
Nice.
I did not hate that scene, excuse me, because of the women in the scene. I hated that scene because none of the movie screwed that up. None of the Marvel movies before, leading up, seemed to have, until Disney became a part of it, seemed to have that sort of like social justice movement crammed in here and there and a little bit there, and which is not something I have a problem with. The only thing I truly have a problem with that irritated me the most is it seems like I'm a kind of like do-it-yourself kind of person. So I feel like if you want something done a certain way, do it yourself. That's not a very uncommon thing, right?
Yeah. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Right.
By Thanos.
So, yeah. That's a nice call. So what I would say irritates me the most is because when people created this story, this universe, all this stuff, they weren't thinking about how important women are. They're thinking about the story. They're thinking about these characters they created. And not to mention, they created female characters. There's all kinds of female characters in the Marvel Universe or the MCU. So the fact that there's scenes like this in the movie or in movies is just because for so long people have complained and complained and complained. And so they feel like these things need to be addressed. And again, I'm not mad that they're being addressed. I'm all for women's fucking, they're equals, blah, blah, blah. I've always said that. I always preach stuff like that. What I hate is that they're messing with the creation. Like, it's an art. Endgame is an art to me. That is a giant fucking artistic portrait of a movie. It's amazing. And so I feel like the reason they'd made changes like that, or not really made changes. There's certain changes that I feel they made in the movie that I won't spoil. But there's certain things that they do that I feel they do to address like social justice, stuff like that. And that's just something I just don't agree with. Because, when I'm making something, when I'm doing something artistic, I don't think like, well, what's going to please the world in the most politically correct way about this, picture I'm drawing or painting I'm doing. I feel like, personally, I don't think that's such a bad opinion to have, but I know how a bunch of people could try to spin that into, I'm thinking, being misogynistic and shit like that.
Right. And what I was going to say in the movie theater, one of the things that I wanted to say is that when it's kind of like, because on the other side of things, it's not seen the same way. Obviously on the other side of the argument, it's seen as, well, this is a really empowering moment for people who don't feel empowered very often, and you shouldn't try to take that away from us. But I definitely see how you're saying is like, if a script is molded around a certain movement, especially such a I don't want to say a modern movement, but it's
definitely not modern. It's something that's taken ages to develop, but
but it definitely is very.
It is big in modern times right now.
Yeah, and I think if it's scripted around something like that, not only does it date the movie and make it age very badly, but it does interfere with the story.
Yeah, which again, I'm not against that scene, like I said, because it doesn't interfere with the movie. It just seems. I don't like when I see it and it seems a little bit forced in there. And where I was going with the do-it-yourself kind of thing, if you're really going on the internet and saying, like, there needs more of this, there needs more of that, and I didn't like this, and I didn't like that, fucking don't take it up with the Russo brothers. They just created a story for you. They didn't even create the story. They just made it happen. But if you really want something, you want a film that's, like, all woman empowering, fucking make it. Be a filmmaker. People don't make things. A lot of people do make things just to please people, but I feel like with movies and stuff like that, when it comes to it, those people are very passionate about what they're doing. So I think very seldom are they looking out to be like, well, what's going to make the general public most happy about this? And when I say general public, I mean those fucking ass clowns on the internet who have to be have to be like, fucking women are people too. You can't fucking do this.
Right. They don't make these movies thinking about they're thinking about their fans, and their true fans, and the ones who are going to appreciate the stuff that they're doing. They're not thinking about, what is Tumblr user umbilical cord 68 gonna think about this, you know?
I think the true fans aren't thinking like, I didn't think that woman was on camera too often. I think true fans are thinking shit like, you know, fucking, like, that's a plot hole in that story, and fucking, what happens to that Infinity Stone now?
Right.
Know?
You want to know another movie that did it really wrong, though?
What?
The Last Jedi. Oh,
my God. Don't even get me started on how much I hate The Last Jedi. Just for the addressments to social justice movements alone in that movie. There was a lot wrong with that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But just the fact that they were trying to cram, like, fucking, like, everyday problems
there was absolutely zero reason for General Holdo to not tell Poe Dameron about her. He was causing such a thing. It would have been so easy for her to just be like, hey, check it out. We got this plan. All right. You guys are going to get to this little base over here, and I'm going to fucking yeet through this through this Star Destroyer, and we're going to tear it up. All right. That's the plan. And we're kind of keeping it on the down low for spies. All right. So just stop making a scene and we'll be all good. But no, they just had to have her be like, I'm this smart woman you couldn't even comprehend my genius. And how about you just settle down, buddy boy? Also, Rose Tico. Obviously, this is no, because I know what's her name is Kelly Marie Tran. I think that's the actress's name. But she obviously, like, she got a lot of hate for Rose Tico, and I don't think that's on her at all.
I think she got more than the actor that played Jar Jar Binks.
I think so, because Jar Jar Binks was a CGI character.
Well, they're still kind of played by, I don't know if it was just voiced or if they're referring to, like, the guy who wore the weird, like, balls and the green suit.
Well, let me tell you, I didn't know until this year, 2019, that guy was black. So
there was an article, like, it had to be like 2014 or something like that I saw that he put out about how all the therapy he's gone through and shit, that the problems he's had because people have given him so much shit about being Jar Jar Binks.
Well, wasn't Jar Jar Binks originally supposed to be like the Sith Lord?
I think that's just a YouTube fan.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. But then there's like actual moments in The Phantom Menace where he's leaning around corners and mouthing Padme's lines. And he's a CGI character. So that wasn't like just a mess up on the actor's part. They intentionally did that.
I do blame him very highly for getting Senator Palpatine to the place that he got to take over the entire Republic. So,
but yeah, Kelly Marie Tran got a lot of hate, like a ton of it, and she ended up deleting her Instagram. Daisy really did too, and I don't think I think Rey's a fantastic character. I love Rey, but
did Rey get hate for it?
Rey did get some hate, and that always confused me. But I understood where other fans were coming from, but I definitely think attacking the actress was the wrong move, because she was.
That is pretty true. I don't really know why they're going after the actresses and actors themselves, because they are pretty much handed a piece of paper with the shit written on it.
Exactly, and they have to do their very best job.
Believe me, I do love going hard on the fucking directors and producers and writers of The Last Jedi, because
that all being said,
they need to rethink their lives.
Rose Tico is an awful fucking character.
One of the worst.
She is so bad. And can you imagine going on that whole entire adventure and liberating some animals because slavery is wrong, and going back to the ship and it's all great, and then just leaving the fucking slave kids?
Some of them were Jedis too. You see that at the end of the movie.
Right.
And it's like, wow.
And she just kind of skipped over that. She's like, these animals are in horrible condition. I mean, sure, these kids are being whipped and beaten every single day. Look at these animals racing. How horrible is that? Fuck off.
I don't know. She was almost worse than her hairstyle.
Oh, God.
What is with that? Like,
almost worse than General Holdo's hairstyle.
That woman is a disgrace to fashion. Much like movies, I was thinking about video games the other day. And what specifically I was thinking about is, for instance, like Grand Theft Auto. When you play Grand Theft Auto, you can do pretty much anything, especially in 5 was the most recent to come out, right?
Right.
5, you can fucking do anything. You can get fucking hookers, you can go to a strip club, you can own a fucking mansion, you can fly a jet, and pretty much you can kind of do that in almost any of the games, but still.
It's the free trial of being 21, but you only have to be 17, you know?
Exactly. And so I was thinking, you can do all these things in a video game without repercussions, which I know the media's, they blame that for a lot of the shit going wrong, and
which is,
I'm pretty sure there's studies
ridiculous.
about why that's wrong.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking more or less of, if I had that kind of opportunity to like live in a virtual world and literally just do, or kind of like a dream world, like, you know, when you're dreaming very heavily and you kind of have more influence over what's going on rather than a dream that just kind of takes you for the ride. You kind of exercise that if you become self-aware that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, while doing my menial job that I do every day, there's plenty of time to think.
Right, because you're a pizza delivery boy.
Yeah. I was thinking, if you had that second life, what would you do? And let's just say you're in like average everyday world. No video game laws apply, except for the fact that there's little to no repercussions. Even if you die, let's say you die, you respawn.
Well, okay, so this is actually a very good, because this is something that I love to think about. And obviously, like, I've thought about my ideal superpower and what I think that might be. And definitely high up there on the list would be to be able to just quick save in real life. You know, before you do something like, or if you're just feeling bored, just like quick save, so that way, no matter what, you can just go back to that.
So I can shoot this important character in the fucking face.
Just to see what happens, or see how long I'd fare. Pick a fight with Gary, and just see, just like as right before I'm about to just like kick it, or right before he hits me, I just like oof, back in my own save.
I'm ashamed to admit how often I do that in video games.
I think it's universal.
It's mostly stuff like Skyrim, because that's stuff you can do that pretty easy, or like Fallout.
Right, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, because like I've seen like a ton of memes. It's like you know, whenever it's like that gif of Jordan Peele and he's like sweating.
Yeah.
And it's like Whiterun guards when they see the Dragonborn quick save and pull out the mace of Molag Bal.
That's so true. So you're yourself.
Right.
You're in life. You can respawn. I guess you can quick save. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
though.
definitely same concept.
What do you do?
What do I do first?
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the things I like is like say Grand Theft Auto. There's been all kinds of memes about it, but I'll say it. There's a point in every time you're playing that you decide like, I'm gonna drive like a normal person down the road,
yeah,
and like not crash into shit. Never in a million years, if I had the choice of like having no repercussions, would I ever drive like a normal, sane person.
I think that'd be the first thing I do. You know, just do something out of the ordinary.
Hop in my car until I see a sweet enough car, and then fucking like jack an old lady in the face. Then take her nice coupe and just take that shit down the street.
I think actually that'd be like a pretty relating to cars. I think that'd be probably pretty high up on my list of things to do, is just
steal cars.
no, but
jack old women.
Go speeding and go as fast as I possibly can, you know, and just sort of wait, because I always thought like it'd be pretty cool to be in a high speed chase. You know, and just get a bunch of those police cars just chasing after you. It must be so thrilling. Or you know, just find a nice fucking sports car and just put the top down, blast some like Motley Crue, and just fucking tear up the highway and wait for someone to catch on. Wait for some cops to catch
Put
on.
Some Kickstart My Heart.
Exactly. That's the exact song I was thinking.
That's
perfect. But I think that'd be so
Go
like
flying off the side of the freeway into some water. We don't even have water around here, but
right, it's Arizona. But I just think that would
be like one of those what do you call them, washes?
Yeah,
just into a wash down into an explosion.
I think that'd be amazing. Also, kind of on. Well, what would you do?
Well, I guess without superpowers, there isn't really much you can do in everyday life without cars. I don't know if I'd get in trouble for this, but I think since we live so close to a military installation,
oh no,
I'm getting the biggest truck I see, and I'm fucking plowing through those front gates where they have to take your IDs and shit. And I'm going right to fucking. I don't even know where to get a gun.
They stop you. They've got those. They've got those cop barriers. You know, they've got the big old bars.
I've always wondered how fast those barriers come up. Have you seen them go?
I don't think I've seen them in real life, but I like they definitely have them in movies where, and I've seen footage where they just
is it like a
pop
jack
up,
in the box, like
as fast. I always thought it'd be like really counterproductive if they just slowly like raise from the ground. Like if you're in a big ass truck, you just like.
Well, I drive over those like 50 times a day, so I always think like either this thing's gonna accidentally go up, or it's gonna be like an action movie, or like kind of like flat screen, like the two bars come in over and under my eyes,
right?
And I see the thing slowly start coming up, and I fucking slam on the gas,
right? Deja vu.
Yeah,
I've just been in this place before. Like anime
exactly.
music.
Other than that, well, obviously I wouldn't I don't know, maybe I would go on a shooting spree. It's a video game. Give me a break. Like, who doesn't shoot random people in the face in a video game?
Right.
But I would probably go right, after I get the guns, go right up to the airport and take like an M16 or something and like a case of beer and just start like, woo! Like driving it slowly down the highway, like don't even have the full the full engines on. Like I'm just zzz, and like the same mo you would down a runway, but down like the streets of our town.
You decide, you know what? I'm just gonna drive normally, but you're in a plane.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive normally today with the M16.
You're like a residential going 25 miles per hour. And you're just like, this feels nice. Yeah. Stopping at stop signs.
That's definitely something you see in like a fucking Family Guy or something. Somebody driving a jet down the street.
Right. Similar concept. Groundhog Day. How cool would it be to have a Groundhog Day?
That's something I don't think about that much. I like that
because like you learn I mean in the movie like Bill Murray learned about everybody.
I probably wouldn't learn shit.
He slept with okay, so I feel like you would because I think somebody ended up sitting down and like doing the math. And I read it on some website after I saw the movie for the first time. Like they he was in the Groundhog Day for like 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's gotta be fucking drive you insane after a while.
Well, right, and I think that's why he just had to just go around for so many people, and
So you're saying in the situation, I would be doing that for 8 years?
Right. I think so. I think you're just. I wonder how many of those 8 years you just decided to stay at home.
Would I get to pick the day?
Bill Murray didn't.
That's true. Okay, so. How do we even talk about that if we don't know what happens in the day over and over and over again?
I guess that's true. I guess sure. Pick the day. Pick a day from your past.
I'll pick a random one and one that I would like it to be.
Okay.
I think the random one would be like today. Wouldn't be that bad. I slept until about maybe 11:30. Melissa got up with the kid, took care of him. And I came out and kind of took over a little bit. I pretty much just watched TV all day. Smoked a little bit, got something to eat. My day didn't really mostly start until like 4 p.m. But so today wouldn't have been a bad day, I guess. But there's definitely things about today that would be like, wow, that got old really fucking quick. Like seeing Endgame every day.
Yeah.
That'd be fun for like 5 times like you did it. And then, soon enough I'm mouthing the every line of the movie as it's happening. And
right.
If I were to pick a day for it to happen, it sounds cheesy, but I would probably pick the day my son was born. Because, who wouldn't want to relive that every day? Probably not my wife. I don't think she would want to relive that every day. Can you imagine fucking
she ever found out what you did?
Can you imagine she's, you're squeezing a kid out of your puss every fucking day for 8 years?
God.
I would relive that day. It wasn't that hard for me. Although...
you wouldn't relive the day that, like, your son was conceived? Because I feel like that'd be a good day, too.
I mean, it wasn't. As far as I can remember, it wasn't like any more special than any other day. I mean, I had sex, yeah, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I have sex with my wife a lot. That's
well, I don't have a wife.
oh right.
So
I can see how that'd be a problem.
Yeah, I don't have sex with my wife very often.
You should get one. They're great.
Yeah, is that a fact?
They let you have sex with them.
Wow.
Yeah, I have living proof of that. So yeah, she wouldn't want to relive that day, but I probably would. I'd
She would
enjoy
know
it.
the difference.
Even though, we'll just kind of sidetrack story a little bit. That day that he was born at 9:49 p.m. or a.m. Sorry,
A.M. Okay.
9:49 a.m. That the night before, I didn't really get much sleep. We were kind of hanging out. She was feeling a lot of pain. They had to induce her, so they broke her water at like 5 p.m. that previous day.
Yeah.
Which to me, which I was gone too, I'm in the hospital for 4 days. And one of the times I leave to go like take a shower, feed the cats and shit,
yeah,
they break her water and I miss it. And from what she told me, it was like whoosh onto the ground, like, and she was fucking big. She even kind of looked a little bit smaller after they let the water out because there was so much fluid in her, you know. And so I leave for an hour and I come back and they're like, yeah, they broke my water. We're kind of moving things along, which kind of seemed like it didn't because it was. I don't know if you know anything about induction, but they put certain medicines, I guess you'll call them, chemicals, some kind of shit inside her that'll speed up the process of her dilation and whatnot. So that night, I kind of thought after her water was going to break, something was maybe going to happen soon, right?
Yeah.
Well, the baby can be in there for, I don't remember, I think it's up to a day without all that fluid in there, and then it'll start to get a little critical for the baby. So
it won't try to come out. It'll just be like sitting in there. It's like, well, this is uncomfortable, and it'll just die.
If he doesn't move into birthing position, he doesn't move into birthing position.
I guess it's true.
But that, and it also counts on, he's got to move into position before he can start pushing, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that night, I thought something was going to happen. Nothing really happened. So I stayed up for a long time until about 4 a.m. is when I started to nod off a little bit. Yeah. And I shit you not, like 30 minutes later, I'm laying on a couch sleeping for as little time that I have. Excuse me. And she's like calling my name from the hospital bed. Mm-hmm. And I like kind of roll over and kind of half fall off the couch. And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, I can't remember. I think she was like 2-something centimeters dilated. I don't know. Yeah. Bunch of numbers and shit that day. But she was way more dilated than she was, like, exponentially than she was when I went to sleep.
Right.
So that was crazy. And she's like, well, you better wake up. It's happening. So it was like, I spent the first part of her labor, like, half awake, fucking, like, holding her leg up and shit. And then, of course, he came out finally at 9:49, and it was all that. And then after that, they cleaned him up. They cleaned her up, stitched her up, blah, blah, blah. And then we moved rooms, and after we moved rooms was kind of the end of the excitement for the day, and that was only like noon. And then we pretty much just hung out with him in a hospital room all day. So the later part of that day was really nice because we just, watched TV with him. He slept most of the time because I don't know if you know, newborns sleep like 3/4 of their time alive until they're like so many months old. But yeah, I'd probably relive that day over and over again. What about you?
I don't know. The day I won the spelling bee was pretty cool.
I didn't even know you were in a spelling bee.
No, I felt like I really can't live up to that story. So
I'm sorry.
what day could I possibly pick?
I should have went second.
You just have like this beautiful story of like your son being born, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess one time
I spelled dyslexia right.
I don't even remember the winning word.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I would, if I ever won a spelling bee, the only word I would remember was the word that I spelled correctly. Because I'd probably have it fucking like in like like those tacky wood letters that you get from like Hobby Lobby, like above my bed.
Well, you know what
like
I do remember?
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia. No,
A.M.
the word that I do remember is the word that I lost with at the county level. Because it was at the school level that I won. And then at the county level...
Oh, so you made it to the big time, and that's when you choked.
Yeah, I guess so. There's also like a statewide, and but so it was... they went through the practice round, and everyone got these super fucking easy words. And like the kid in front of me got like Spartan, and he spelled Sparten, like... He got it wrong, and I was like, God, I wish this round counted because I would have killed
idiot.
it. Right, because I got like a good solid word like resource, and I was like a sixth grader. I was like, I can spell that. I feel good, and I got it right. And then the word that I the first round that actually counted, everyone got super easy words, and then they got to me, and they were like, all right, spell caucus. And I was like, caucus,
like the. I don't really know what caucus is.
It's like a professional like political type business meeting.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that in government class. I was thinking, what's that region in between? It's in between Asia and Scandinavia. It's like the Caucasus region.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but no, it wasn't that. Can you spell caucus?
Caucus. I'd say C-A-U-C. Wait, no, L-C-O-U-S. I was thinking caulk. Like the stuff you put on windows, like caulk.
You were
Cock.
You were close the first time.
So I shouldn't have put that L in there?
Yeah, it's C-A-U-C-U-S. And I'll always remember how to spell
Just
that.
C-U-S, not O-U-S?
No, not O-U-S.
Okay.
C-A-U-C-U-S. And I'll always remember how to spell that because it was so fucking embarrassing having to ask so many times, can you use it in a sentence? Can you repeat the word over and over? Because you're allowed to ask those questions an unlimited amount of times.
Really?
Yeah. And
is it different sentences when you ask for it, or do they just say like...
we
went to the caucus, you asshole. What? How many times do you want to fucking hear it?
Can you give me a sentence? Yeah, I need the rundown.
Can you spell it for me?
No, but it was super embarrassing. And then I remember just going like I was like, you know what? I don't know how to spell this fucking word. I've never heard this word. I've never read this word once in my life. There's not even a little tiny bit of me that has any knowledge of what this word is. And so I just was like C-O-C-K-I-S. That was wrong, obviously, but I wouldn't actually relive the spelling bee day because obviously I feel like...
Well, when the person said it, did they say it like caucus or caucus?
They said caucus.
Caucus.
Caucus, that's how it's pronounced.
Caucus.
But...
I don't know. I feel like some people could put a little... I don't know. They could put a little bit of emphasis on like a caucus. Like people just say words different ways. Like someone could say caucus, someone could say caucus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like my cousin says. Well, I guess this is kind of a different explanation or a different like build up of it. Because my cousin says Taco Bell, and I say Taco Bell. So you put the emphasis on the different part of the
stress.
word. I don't think that's the same though, because that's kind of what I was referring to as like caucus with the IS. So
right. No, but I know what you mean. It's like
I still can't stand by the way she fucking says Taco Bell. Yeah, we're gonna go to Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
No, like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
We're going to Taco Bell.
So Taco
Doesn't
Bell.
that sound wrong to you?
I guess so.
How would you say it? Like without even thinking, just say Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
That your kind of sounds like 50-50.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
you're
just
just
thinking,
saying
like-
two different words, like Taco Bell.
That's what it is two different words.
It is, but like I'm like, you guys trying to go to Taco Bell right now? You know how like a taco is like such a even I just said it right there. It's like such a quick
Taco.
way of saying it.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I can see what you're saying. I think I have my own
My
example.
favorite thing from Taco Bell is the gordita.
Like
or,
oh god, the cheesy gordita crunch. Is
I
so good.
enjoy the cheesy gordita crunch from Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
You see the difference there?
Yeah, definitely.
Does that irritate you like it irritates me? Because I can't get over it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it doesn't just like sit in my bones. I'm like, "Ugh, why say taco that way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't fucking like wake me up at night. Like that fucking bitch needs to put
Yeah,
the
that's what I
emphasis.
imagine is like you're just like sleeping peacefully with your wife and your son, who you love so much, in your
Yeah,
bed.
I wake the kid up because I'm like, it's Taco Bell, Taco Bell, not
Cold
Taco
sweat.
Bell.
You just sit straight up, just like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Now I have Tourette's because of fucking the shitty Mexican restaurants being said different ways.
No, but like I definitely have my own instance of that. Like my parents they say Trevor, you know,
Yeah.
and everyone at
I
school
thought they
says,
call you something.
well, they call me
Mikey?
Mikey, yeah, because
Oh,
my
yeah.
middle name's
I wanted to
Michael.
say Jimmy for a minute.
my
It'd be
middle
so
name's
much
Michael,
funnier if
so
they called you Jimmy.
I played a character in high school whose name was Jimmy. He was a charismatic playboy.
Oh yeah, and what play was that?
Nice Work If You Can Get It. It was a musical. But anyway, no, but like my parents, when they say my first name, they say Trevor, and then everyone at school said faggot.
Yeah, I could see how you wouldn't like that. The way they said Trevor.
Yeah, it's just like little subtle things that just really just
The
get
T
you.
goes at the end. Wow.
Do you so you do deliver pizzas?
I do deliver pizza, yeah.
Do you ever
For now.
like obviously they're like the regulars, you know, the people that order pretty often, like Lloyd.
Yeah. Lloyd. Yeah,
my
we
name
got
Lloyd.
we got a few of them.
Do you ever see any of them in real life?
I have seen a few, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't say like real life,
Unfortunately.
working isn't real life, but like outside of
There's
of
nothing
work.
real about delivering pizzas. It's all about what part of the matrix you're in.
But like who have you seen around and have you interacted with them?
Well, I obviously don't know their names.
Yeah.
They're all on the receipts, but I don't like. Contrary to what people may think when they see that like their information like that is on receipts, like their phone number, their name or anything like that. I don't memorize it.
Right.
So I just obviously kind of like Michael Scott when he was showing the Utica branch how to talk to people.
Bald.
Yeah,
Baldy.
it was like you just take how did he say it? You just take things about the way they look or some shit like that.
Right.
And give them nicknames, and then eventually
she's-
that'll lead to their real name.
Right. She's pregnant. All right. She's preggers. She's knocked up. Kay. Her name is Karen.
Yeah. So I have to do that with the people that I deliver to that I remember. Like, I don't remember what this guy's name is, but he lives at these apartment buildings down here on 7th. And for a long time, which I kind of feel bad about this, the way it ended up. For a long time, he would just answer the door, nothing but tidy whities.
Oh,
and
I've heard about him.
I wish they were white.
Oh no.
They're more like tidy brownies or like tidy, like kind of piss yellowies. But I don't fucking remember what his name is. But he would order the same thing almost daily, not daily, but almost daily, and mostly in the morning because. For a while there, I was working like some mornings, some nights, and I would more or less see him in the morning.
Yeah.
Which I guess is more the afternoon. But if I get there at 10 until 4 o'clock when I leave, it's like I worked in the morning, you know? Because 10 a.m. as a dad now, 10 a.m. is like, this is fucking early. What are you
Right.
people doing out here? Like, and some people have been up since like before the sun was. So, but people like him, I saw him at Walmart. And I was like, I almost didn't recognize you with pants on.
Yeah.
But why I kind of feel bad about it is because I delivered to him multiple times, and he'd answer the door in just like a dirty like flannel button up and this fucking underwear.
Right.
And this is a decrepit, skinny old man living in probably like a 1-bedroom apartment by himself. I assume that's what they are. They're not big buildings.
Yeah.
But I felt bad because I would deliver to him over and over and over again. And then I finally said something to our boss. We worked together. I said something to our boss, and I was like, I can't stand fucking delivering to that guy. He always answers the door in his underwear. And he's like, what? That's a huge problem. Like, why didn't you tell anybody about that? And I was like, well, I don't know. I kind of just took it as like the day-to-day droves of being a delivery person. Like, you see crazy shit. Like one of the other guys we work with said he answered the door one time and some like huge black dude just answered completely naked, like pissed off, like, what did you do when I was getting my shit right there, man? Sorry for my black. That's what a black person sounds like to me, especially if they're big and buff. I've never seen a big and buff dude sound like, hey guys, how's it going? You know, it's
big
always been like,
man, what you dude named fucking Requise.
You know. So, but we have like female delivery drivers, and that's kind of a problem for
definitely
him to be coming to the door and like, I mean, it's in underwear, but if we're being honest, he's exposing himself.
He's just watched too much porn. He's like, you know what? This is how it works.
Yeah, we might as well just cut out pants altogether because it's just a waste of time.
Amanda died 15 years ago, and I'm finally ready to move on and start dating again. Let me order a pizza.
Hey, baby. You ever seen chicken legs like these? Call these Los Pollos Hermanos, the chicken brothers.
The chicken brothers?
Yeah, because there's legs. There's two of them. Los Pollos Hermanos.
Los Pollos Hermanos. ¿Dónde estás el leche?
Other than him, I can't really think of many that I've seen outside of just other ones that are like, they don't have any like amazing defining qualities except for other than that I think personally they order Domino's a little too often.
Right. Well, I also work for Domino's, but I'm not a driver. I make pizzas, you know, and for a while I was just like an insider, and then I became a manager. But in doing so, I've come to know a lot of customers, you know, and sadly, like the ones that I know, I never see in public except for one. And it's like this really sweet guy. Obviously, my favorite customers are always really nice to me.
It's not Rick, is it?
It's not Rick.
Okay.
But
we'll have to talk about him another time.
Yeah, but my favorite customers are. He's gonna find this. No, but my favorite customers are always super nice. Like Wendell, he's such a good dude. Just this big old round black man, and he's always walks in with just a big giant smile on his face, and I love him so much. One of my other favorites is he's a family man. He's a father. He's in the military. His name is Frederick, and he always comes in with his family, and they order something, and they dine in, and then they leave, and he's got his accent, and you know. Like the second time he came in, because it was like within a couple days of the first time he came in, so I remembered the name. But like I took the phone call, and you know, he told me his name. I recognized the accent and the voice because it's pretty unique. And then he came in.
What kind of accent?
I couldn't tell you.
It's just, you know, it's foreign.
It's not American. It's sort of Hispanic, you know, like not. It's one of those like Spanish or okay. Mexican or South American, you know, one of those. But
so something that's not English, but something you wouldn't.
It's not like European or anything.
Here.
But anyway, he came in, you know, and I just had his pizza ready, you know, standing at the counter, and he was like, "How'd you know it was me?" And I was like, "Well, I know your name, you know, but." He's one of the only ones I've seen in public. I've seen a couple in public, and I can usually just like duck behind an aisle so they don't recognize me, you know. But he's the only one that I've had like a legitimate encounter. And I went into a store in the mall, and I saw him and his family there, and they were all just walking around, you know, looking at the products and just like, you know, having a good time. And they were laughing, and it was like a really nice, wholesome family moment. And it would have been, you know, really nice. And I probably would have walked up and said something if I wasn't in that Spencer's to buy a fleshlight. so I was fucking nervous. Like I was in there, and I was just like,
I feel like you standing there in the middle of Spencer's probably was like Doctor Strange and Infinity War, like running through all the possibilities.
Right.
You're like, I could say hi now. But then if I walk up to the counter with a fleshlight, you could still be in your shopping.
I was staring at the wallets for an ungodly amount of time.
Just twitching your head back and forth. And shit.
Yeah.
Like
and then
phasing out.
Just waiting for him to leave. And they were in there for like a really long time. And then, you know, and then eventually he left, and I didn't interact with him because I was so fucking, because I was up in this like little corner because I was just so scared of him walking by and being like, "Don't you work at Domino's?" You know, and I was just so scared. But eventually, like, he left, and there was only one other person in the store, and one of the workers was like, "Can I help you find anything?" And I was like, "No, I know what I want. I'm just waiting for everyone to clear out so I can go grab it." And they were like, "Oh, well, no one here is really a judgmental type. That lady over there, I don't think she is either. She's looking at the same sort of stuff." So I was like, "All right, great." And I got my shit, and I went home.
That's
had
really
a
a conversation
time,
that had.
That's
happened.
Oh yeah, legitimately. Like she was making sure I was like all kinds of comfortable. She was like, "No one here is gonna judge you." You know.
She's like, "Do you want like a certain porn star's brand or just something that does the job?"
No, she didn't like take me over to the aisle itself. But like when she came back, she was like, "All right, well, here's some good lube, and I can get you a little deal with this one, and you know what." And just really trying to like don't feel embarrassed. You know, I was this old when I got my first one, and you know.
Wait, she got a fleshlight?
No, she got a dildo.
Oh well.
But
I feel like for some reason in society, sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
For some reason in society, a dildo is a lot more acceptable than a fleshlight. I feel like it's a lot more common.
Well, obviously, I'm not very ashamed.
Congratulations to you. Hats off to you for being like, I want a personal vagina just to keep around.
Right, because I mean, who fucking would? I don't have a wife.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That is my wife.
I already have a fleshlight. I didn't think about it.
It's got a ring and everything.
That's so horrible. I can't believe I just said that. I definitely don't feel that way about her. She's amazing. Anyway. So
that's like the biggest instance I've had of like running into a customer in public is like, and it was easily like the most embarrassing. I'm so glad that like I went because I don't remember where I was at beforehand, but I remember like thinking in the store like that was fucking close because I could have left from that place like 10 minutes earlier. And can you imagine if I was there and I was already in the purchasing process and then Frederick walks in with his family? He's like, "Don't you work at Domino's?" Oh. That is
okay.
All right. Have a good time, my friend. You know, I wouldn't have known what to do if I had like. I'm kind of really glad that I got there on the back half. If I was going to run into him at any point, I'm glad it was on the end of his trip because
you saw the one situation where you worked.
Right, exactly. The one where we won. Thank God.
So it's about 47 minutes, Trevor. We got to wrap it up here soon. Is there anything else you wanted to get to on this here edition?
I think we are
of nameless episodes.
No, I think we're good. I think we're ready to put a bow on this and package it up. You know,
at 47 minutes, you want to go to like an hour?
I mean, we can.
Why not?
All right.
The caps are off, my dude.
You're right. The caps are absolutely off.
The caps on all three of these bottles here. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Any topics you had to cover?
Yeah, on John Gone West, your other podcast, you talked about when you were looking for a job. And you tapped on a little place called Vector Marketing.
Oh gosh, this is such a good topic. I don't even know what you have to say. This is first time hearing the story, and I already know it's going to be good.
It's going to be
my own
fucking amazing. Go ahead and give like a quick recap on yours, just so.
Okay, well, mine wasn't job searching here.
Right.
I wasn't even really job searching, honestly.
That's why I love the story, is because I was here.
I wasn't looking for jobs. I was still in my original hometown. I moved from there about a year ago. It's coming up on a year. But it was probably about a week before I was getting ready to move. I was hanging out with everybody, getting my last minute, goodbyes, hang out, good times, blah, blah, blah. And I get a text from my friend, and he's like, "Hey, man, this place might be calling you later today about a job offer." And I was like, "What the fuck? Okay. All right, thanks." And the only reason I wasn't so disappointed is because he told me he had a cousin or something that worked in Des Moines at a company that I thought about working for.
Right.
So I was like, oh, maybe this is that. It totally wasn't. I got a text about an hour later about a job that said, do you want to work, make $17 It didn't say an hour. It just kind of said $17.
Do you want to make $17?
Well, no, it was like the pay average was like $17, but it didn't say like 17 an hour. And that's and you get commission as well. And so I was like, this, I mean, doesn't sound bad. And it was like 2 towns away from where I lived. I don't remember what town it was.
Right.
So it wasn't that big of a commute, probably about like 30, 45 minutes. But for 17, what I thought was an hour, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Right.
So
people who work at Domino's for much less than that.
Yeah. I gave him a call back, and this lady told me that they sell cutlery, like knives and fucking shit like that.
Yeah.
So the first thing I thought of was like Napoleon Dynamite. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
And the guy driving around the van trying to sell the Tupperware and shit. So I was like, am I gonna have to wear like that weird like like turtleneck thing that's like that? It's just, like it doesn't go past the shoulders.
Right.
Is there a name for those things? I don't even know what the fuck those things are called.
No, not in my. I mean, I'm sure there is.
And except for that, and maybe like the Big Bang Theory, fucking that one Jewish guy wears that all the time under his like V-necks and shit.
Right.
It's like a weird just turtleneck accessory.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck that came from, but so I was like, I don't really know if I'm, you know, I've previously, before being a delivery driver for a pizza place, I was an assistant manager at a grocery store, and this grocery store is the only job I've ever had besides Domino's. So
Yeah.
I don't have that much experience. So I was like, I'm not 100% sure how great of a cutlery salesman I'm going to be, because it's completely cold call central.
Yeah, I was about to say, they don't give a shit if
They
you're a
don't
good
give
salesman.
you anything. You're supposed to start with your friends, your family, just call anybody you know, just sell these fucking knives, buddy.
Right.
So and they're like, we're not door to door. And that makes you think like, oh, so this is safe. We're not door to door, but you're basically door to door through the way of your door is your telephone, and knock on every single number you can possibly find.
That's exactly right. Is they want you to spread out through like just everyone you know, and a lot of it's like they say we don't present to women, or we don't present to men, only women, and I think that's kind of sketchy in itself, because. I guess maybe you're worried like a man will fucking strangle you, but you have knives, so why are you scared? But I always thought it was weird that, like, you know, I guess with women you hired a capable, able-bodied young man.
Yeah.
And you're good for the intimidation factor.
And then what they explained to
Buy
me,
these knives.
and then what they explained to me afterwards is it wasn't $17 an hour. It was $17 a sale, and then 10% commission off that sale.
Yeah.
No. 17 per presentation, because what you're supposed to do is use the office to bring people in for an hour presentation on knives.
Oh.
So I'm guessing you're like cutting rope and tomatoes and shit, or some fucking shit like that. So I was like, this
Roared and
sounds...
Gamsey.
Yeah. So after hearing all this, the first thing I thought was like, maybe I should just Google pyramid scheme. Because that's pretty much what this sounds like. Like, no. That's another office thing where he's like, it's not a pyramid scheme, Jim. Listen, one guy has
Yeah.
2 friends. They call their 2 friends and get people interested. And those 2 friends call their 2 friends and get... And then he draws the fucking triangle around it. So I was like, this does not sound too good. But obviously you have a story much like that, I'm assuming.
Very similar. I knew a ton of people who worked for this little place, right?
Did I ever say the name, or did you?
I did, yeah. Vector Marketing.
Vector Marketing, yeah.
It was the Cutco. It's they sell these knives, and it's just like I knew a ton of people, and all of them swear up and down like, no, it's not a scam, dude. You just make good money, but it's because you're the fucking pawn. You're not the king or queen in this giant chess game.
Well, that's the best way to explain it, too.
Yeah.
That's a very great way to explain it.
But they just, I don't know. I went in, so eventually this guy who was like the regional manager of the branch down here contacted me, reached out, and I was like, I don't know.
How did he? Excuse me. How did he find you? Because mine reached me through a friend who was also reached through a friend.
I think he was doing something similar, but through he would just like send Facebook friend
kind of like
requests.
army recruiters and shit.
Exactly.
They just send like a certain like a age group or something like that.
Yeah. So that's probably exactly what was happening. So he just went through and but he sent me a friend request, and I ended up accepting it because I was like, this kind of looks like this dude I knew. It wasn't that dude I know. Dude I know I actually have now, and his name was not the same name. But
so you didn't even know this guy at all, but you thought you knew him.
right. He looked like somebody else that I was like friends
So
of a
you're
friend.
like, all right, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I think I've run across this guy, but I hadn't. So he ended up messaging me, and he was like, just did a fucking like, are you looking for? Hey, Trevor, do you know? I never met the guy in my life, but he called me by my first name over Facebook Messenger, which I think was a little weird. But he was like, hey, Trevor. Can you help me out? Do you know of any kids around your age who are looking for a job that makes this much money and you can pick your own hours and it's really flexible with schedule and it's super easy? And I was like, Ellen, my dearest friend and closest confidant. I don't know of anyone looking for such a thing, but when I find one, I'll send them straight to you. And
now, with that first approach, did you get any kind of like, did you get immediate red flags, or are you like, I'm that kind of guy?
No.
That's me you just described.
I think I have enough, I definitely had enough social awareness to read this and be like, what kind of, that's such a lame attempt to get me. Like for me to be like, pick me, come on.
I guess it kind of, the way you
it.
described it is almost kind of like half as convincing as like, hot singles in your area want to find you right now.
That's exactly. It was so like, who would fall for that? Apparently, I know a ton of people who would. But
you ever watch that show, The Middle?
I
haven't really watched much of it. It's that weird one on like ABC or some shit.
Oh.
But it's got that like midget kid. But anyway, there's like this part where he's talking about something and the parents are like, hun, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. That he's like, so there aren't hot singles in my area?
The Goblin.
Yeah, the Goblin. Like, he's grown up now and his voice is still like,
Kind of like a little squeaky, but also kind of like a little bit cheered.
Right.
because like in the very early episodes, he's like basically like a fucking chipmunk of a little human being. He's so weird.
He makes me
I feel
feel
bad making making fun of him. But,
Don't. You can make fun of whoever you want. That's life. If people don't like it,
You think so?
Yeah. What's he gonna do? Come and beat you up? No.
I don't know. You
And
ever
even
see
if he
Jay and
did-
Silent Bob Strike Back? That's what they did.
Even if he did go
Yes.
out of his way to come find you,
It'd be a
you can
bunch of
take
people
him.
talking shit about him on the internet,
He's
and
a
then they
little
like
fucking
looked
goblin.
up where they lived, and they like got a bunch of money from like a movie, and then they like flew to each of these houses and like beat up like 12-year-olds and shit.
no, but I'm pretty sure you could take this
Classic
kid.
film. You gotta watch it.
But yeah, no. So we ended up messaging a couple times, and he was like, "Hey, I really want to bring you in for an interview," and I was like, "Hey, I'm really not interested." But he was like, "Come on, just let me give you a quick rundown, and we'll go over everything, and then we'll see if you're interested. Okay, just give us a chance." And I was like, "All right, fine." And I go out, and I'm like, "Dad, I got a job interview," and he's like, "Where?" And I was like, "Fucking Vector Marketing." And he's like, "God damn it, son! That's a scam!" And I was like, "I know!" But he just wouldn't stop, so I figured I'd just get him off my back. And I went, and he was like tucked away on the inside of this little like office complex in like a little corner. I walked in, it wasn't vacuumed, it wasn't clean at all. There was a whiteboard with a bunch of like kids' names of like kids my age and little like meters.
Victims, other prisoners.
Yeah, little meters of like how much money they made. And like there was this one guy that I knew since like freshman year. Also, fuck you, Ernie, for fucking playing into that. But no, he was just sitting there and he was like, "Hey, I'm out on a sales call, but I'll see you later. All right, good luck on your interview, man."
Did he
Hope
have
you
like a
get it."
Bluetooth in?
He
like
did.
A suit?
He did.
What a fuck!
What a fucking tool, am I right? He really thought.
Yes.
Oh, he was like. I remember, like, cause like he called me that morning, and he's like, just want to make sure you're still coming in for the interview with my boss, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. I'm heading into the office soon, so I'll see you. But the office was like a room no bigger than like the room we're sitting in.
Oh my god!
You know, it was just this little tiny little space with just a wooden desk in the middle and a laptop, and that's where my interview was held.
Fuck yeah!
And God, it was so bad. First impression,
Like a place that looked like it's only something like a mob boss wanted to pay out for.
Yeah, exactly.
Like folded metal chairs and shit.
Oh, that's exactly what I sat on for the interview. Was a folded metal chair. It's like you were there. But yeah, and the guy just told me, he was like, each sale is on average $300 at least. You know. So you'll have to ask like your mom's friends and then their friends, and God, it was so like,
oh my god.
I acted interested because I was like, this is interview experience, and if I'm gonna be here, I might as well like learn how to play them like a fiddle.
It's almost like those weird like cult like religion kind of things you see like on shows like 2020 or some shit like that, or like the A&E channel where you see like some dude was like, I know all these wisdom things and I'm chill, and then they go live on a fucking reserve, and then next thing you know they're all drinking Kool-Aid and shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this company feels like. Except it's like, you're all idiots, sell these stupid fucking forks and knives and shit, and make us a ton of fucking money.
But no, and he just went through, and I just like played along, with everything that he said. I was like, oh, very nice. Yes, I would love to present to not men, and all that. And I like took notes on this little piece of copy paper that he gave me to take notes on. And
so accommodating.
I know. And, stupid little pen that kept ripping through the paper because he didn't give me a clipboard. So he just told me to write on my lap. Anyway, so we got to the end, and he was like, he was so confident, so cocky. He knew that I was gonna say yes. He knew before I even said anything that I was gonna say, give me this job. And he was saying stuff all throughout the interview like, dude, you're gonna kick so much ass at this job. I can already tell. You're gonna kick some ass here. And so, like I said,
you're gonna be driving a Bentley in a week.
Right, like I said, before I even made.
Did you see Ernie in there? See all that swag? That's gonna be you.
His little Bluetooth.
You're gonna be getting blowjobs every hour, dude.
From Ernie.
Yeah.
Make Ernie your bitch. It's like a fucking. He's Palpatine. Ernie's Vader, and he's like, new apprentice, man. I gotta.
This guy's watched The Wolf of Wall Street too many times.
Exactly. But like I said, he knew I was gonna say yes before I even said
railed
yes.
an 8-ball before the interview.
So he goes, all right, so
he starts pounding his chest. Sorry.
Oh, it was fucking Matthew McConaughey. No, but he, like I said, he knew I was gonna say yes before I even said yes, and so he goes, all right, so, let's get this hiring process started, and I was like, I'd love to, but it's just not for me. And I shook his hand, started walking out, and he fucking panicked. And like he just fell apart. And I just lost like because this guy held it together, and I was like, wow, he's kind of making like a good case. If this wasn't an obvious fucking scam, I'd be all over it. But no, he started falling apart, and in that moment I was like, all right, that was all obviously a facade, because he just started going like, wait, why? What didn't work for you? Why what didn't you like? And all that. And I was like, well, it's a scam, Adeline. And he goes, no, it's not. This is a real job. And I was like, no, I hate Domino's with all my heart. I don't actually hate Domino's. I was just saying it for...
Wait, so you worked at Domino's at this point?
I did.
How long did you work there before I did? Only like 6 months or so, right?
You started working there, what, August?
July.
July.
No, it was August, sorry.
August? So I started working there in late May.
Okay.
So not too much longer.
Nice.
But I was telling him like yeah, I mean, I work in fast food, and I don't like it. I can't stand it. A lot of the people are horrible to you. But you know what? I would rather work there than work for this little, like, obvious, like, what do you think you're... How much wool do you think you're pulling over my eyes right now? Because I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not a retard.
He's like, Trevor, just hit your chest like this. Just do it. Just do it with me. Wow.
Yeah.
That is something. So I love how that's complete opposite though, because I was introduced to it and was kind of believing of it at first, but didn't go with it. And you were introduced to it and were like, well, this is bullshit. And still went through hours of fucking like dealing with
just to waste his time.
People trying to like suck your dick into taking this job.
But I mean, he, it was kind of like known around the school, you know, around like Buena, which I had just graduated from, that, you know, most people who like had heard of this place, they were either like working for him or they knew it was a fucking like just a cardboard setup of an employer. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good note to end on.
Vector marketing. If you ever hear
Scamming
this,
teenagers since 2012.
Yeah, well, seriously, probably way before that.
Probably. Oh yeah, because I think he said something about like, yeah, we've been doing this for 40 years or something like, or like they've been selling cutlery since the 40s or something like that. But I was like, how?
Or he had a 40 in his hand.
How many?
We've been doing this for years, Trevor. Sell these knives, boy.
Just like, why are there so many gullible kids?
I don't know.
Gullible, and on top of that, there are so many like gullible. Like he's one of those people that just thinks he's like a con artist master, that no one can get it, that he is just the liar supreme, and no one can get anything past him, or he can get anything past anybody more accurately, but he's not. And I let me tell you, I hate those people who think that they are just the greatest, most cunning liars in the world.
Yeah, fuck you, Ernie.
No, but these people who think that they're just like the smoothest talkers and that they can get their way out of anything, but they can't. And the moment they start lying to you, you just look at them and you know they're lying. You know that they are. And they try and pull this shit over you and you're like, come on, how stupid do you think I am? And I think that's the kind of thing that like this business has like made it on, is like these kids that really are just too stupid to tell the difference between like a lie and the fucking truth. Now, I've been blinded by a liar, you know, I've been blinded by like, you know, strong emotions and been like, no, this person's not lying to me. But there's always been like, even in those instances, something in the back of my mind telling me like, there's some fishy shit going on right now. And you know, this is probably what's happening, but whatever, we'll let the right brain take the reins on this one. But most of the time, whenever someone starts bullshitting me, I can tell right off the bat. I'm like, stop it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just, that's all that they did was just bring up some bullshit, and I was like, you think I don't smell it? So
well said, Trevor. I think we're gonna end it right there.
All right, that sounds good.
This has been a great first episode.
I agree.
I had fun.
Thanks for talking with me. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for talking with me, Trevor. We definitely have to do this again.
I'm sure we will.
We're gonna shake hands.
All right.
There we go. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Good night.